Namaste to Guruji and a very warm welcome to Guru Rupi Sat Sangat. Today, with Guruji's grace and meher, we are starting this new beautiful divine book, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And Maharaj has chosen Aarti Kapur Aunty to usher us through this book, Divine Spiritual Path. So, without wasting any time further ado, with folded hands and bowed head, welcoming Aarti Aunty. Jai Guruji Aunty.
Namaste to Guruji. Sabse pehla shukrana also to Guruji. And then, of course, to the organizers of the book reading forum. I think personally this is a very special forum because ye forum form hua tha pandemic days mein. And again, for every action, we need to focus on the intent. Or mere hisab se, the intent behind pulling this forum together was to keep us all focused on positivity, just the human connection that we were all missing tremendously back then. And generally speaking also, I think reading a book is good for the mind, it's good for the heart, and there's several physical and mental benefits to reading a book. So I'm going to start this journey with you all collectively, and I'll start with page 7 because it starts with a beautiful quote, which is, "Books are infinite in number and time is short. Therefore, the secret of knowledge is to take what is essential. Take that and try to live it up." It is so succinct, yet so profound. So now, as we collectively embark upon this journey, let's take a moment to reel our minds in, strengthen our focus, अपना सारा ध्यान हम गुरुजी के चरण कमल की तरफ करते हुए शुरू करते हैं आज की reading. And in our minds, let's identify a couple goals for ourselves कि हम ये किताब पढ़ रहे हैं, इकट्ठे पढ़ रहे हैं, मैं पढ़ रही हूँ, आप सब सुन रहे हो, and what is it that we want to take out of this session? So with that in mind, I will start with the 1 hour of wisdom, as the note from the publisher says. Inspiration is a wonderful gift to give to ourselves each day. ये तो हम मानते हैं, right? And inspiration क्या? To do bigger things, to do better things. And again, I hope that inspiration doesn't stem from any sort of comparison. अगर हमें comparison करना है, तो हमें खुद से करना है कि in comparison to yesterday or the previous moment, how am I as a person right now? To nurture our spirits, to be reminded of the power of life flowing through us, to be inspired, to manage our power with greater awareness. Is kitab mein self-awareness pe bahut focus hai. And as we continue to read through those 7 essential laws, we will be able to understand it more and more कि कितने वो practical हैं और कितने relatable हैं to our interactions that we are having with ourselves and others around us on a daily basis. This is the purpose of 1 hour of wisdom. And it's not going to be 1 hour because we're going to break it up into very, very small sections and we'll take it nice and slow. We'll go with the flow. I don't have a timing around कि ये 2 session में खत्म होगा कि 3 में होगा और आज का session 45 minutes का होगा या घंटे का होगा. Maharaj knows. We will just take it nice and slow and try to soak up every word, every lesson that this book is trying to bestow upon ourselves. So let's be open, let's be receptive, and again, let's take a moment to reel our wandering minds back. Most of us spend time taking care of material possessions, which is true. Then we spend time taking care of our spirit. और ये हम सब जानते हैं कि सारी मटेरियल पोजेशंस जिसके हम सब पीछे भाग रहे होते हैं टेम्पररी है, एंड व्हाट इज परमानेंट is our soul. So, in a world where so many things require our attention, the larger purpose of our lives can be forgotten. That is true. And larger purpose ke saath saath, I want to add the more real purpose or the most essential purpose is very easily forgotten. And I'm no exception. So, this book captures the essence of the author's wisdom and shares a wealth of information in less time than it takes to prepare ourselves a meal. And that's why, ye bahut hi easy to read hai. It's not one of those thick 1,000-page books jo, aap dekh ke ye kahoge ki, oh God, ye itni moti kitab hai, mere paas to time hi nahi hai. Words and ideas can heal the mind and nurture the soul. Words are alive with energy. They have the power to uplift, to enliven, to transform. And we all know this, Sangat ji, that words की बहुत ताकत होती है. और वो इसलिए कि अगर हमारे वर्ड्स में पॉजिटिव लाइक एक दूसरे को अपलिफ्ट करने की ताकत है, तो किसी की सोल को ब्रेक करने की भी ताकत है. And that's why we always say, choose your words carefully. Words are energy. So feel the energy of the words in these pages as you read them or as you listen to them. Intend for the gift of their wisdom to be received. So please be open to receiving in the next couple minutes here. Life is a force flowing through us. Where we direct our attention is where our life force flows. Every moment is an opportunity to direct our attention to the ideas that inspire us. Every day brings the promise of a new beginning and the opportunity to transform every life challenge into a gift. 1 hour, one idea, one act of love can make all the difference. There is an art to living with joy and a science to managing all forms of energy, including our own. Learning to manage the force of life flowing through us is a worthy endeavor and one that brings many rewards. May this book help you, and I want to say help us all, to see ourselves with greater clarity. May its wisdom help us all to express all the power of our spirit to fulfill our most cherished dreams. Perhaps you will read this book in less than an hour, but if you read it again and again, the essence of its wisdom will linger for a lifetime. And that is the endeavor of this session, that may the essence permeate through our soul. And I firmly believe that there are no coincidences. There is a reason why this book is being read. So with that, there is an introduction. And I think I'm going to skip that introduction because I want to focus on getting right down to brass tacks and focusing on those laws. So before I start reading the first law, which is the law of pure potentiality, I want us to look back, reflect on our lives, and from looking back in the rear view, capture what are some of the experiences we have gotten from looking back. We all have a past, and everything that happens in our life is actually meant to give us some experience. Now we categorize that into favorable, unfavorable, good, bad, ugly, whatever. But when we look back, we look back to get experiences. When we look forward to seek hope. There's always something to look forward to. When we look around, we try to find reality. And when we look within, Sangaji, we look within to find ourselves. So, with this in mind, अपने मन को एकांत में लाइए और अपने थॉट्स को एनालाइज कीजिए, whether you're trying to reflect on your past or you're trying to look ahead or you're trying to look ahead around, or you want to look within, which I think is the most important exercise, to try to discover your own self. And it is very essential that on a daily basis, we tap into our inner selves as profoundly and as deeply as we can. And it takes work. It takes work. It doesn't happen organically. So we want to put in this work collectively and consciously. I'll read ahead. In the beginning, there was neither existence nor non-existence. All this world was unmanifest energy. So the first law that we will read together is the law of pure potentiality. So इसको भी simplify करने के लिए एक example देती हूँ मैं. पहला law है law of pure potentiality. इसका क्या भावार्थ है? Imagine a seed. ठीक है? अगर आप एक बीज को देखते हो, so before it sprouts, before it germinates, it has many potentialities. It has the potential to become anything. That seed can become a flower. That seed can become a tree. That seed can become a fruit-yielding plant. So basically, the potential within us is limitless. So, and just like that, the possibilities within us are limitless too. And that's exactly what this law is telling us. Tap into your inner essence, and there are no boundaries. And with that thought, this precisely helps us manifest the unthinkable. The essence is pure consciousness, and from that consciousness, the infinite possibilities emerge. So this is the essence of that law of pure potentiality that I will now read with you all from the textbook as it is documented by Deepak Chopra. The first spiritual law of success, the law of pure potentiality, says that our essential state is one of pure potentiality. Pure potentiality is pure consciousness. It is the field of all possibilities and infinite creativity. Our physical body, the physical universe, everything in the material world, comes from the same place. A field of silent, unmoving awareness from which anything is possible. There is no separation between this field of energy and our spiritual essence, our self. So please, Sangaji, close your eyes and listen to every word that I'm reading to you so that you can actually imbibe that. This field is our own self. And when we know that our essential nature is one of pure potentiality, we align with the power that manifests everything in the universe. How many of us have actually read the Shiv Puran and understood the essence of Shiva? And I, by no means, am a subject matter expert on this. I think I have a long way to go to understand what that encapsulates. But I do know that one of the most important things that we have to learn on the path of spiritual evolution is tapping into that stillness that is within us. We run helter skelter, left, right, and center looking for peace. But it is something that is within us, and we need to unleash that. Knowing who we really are gives us the ability to fulfill any dream we have. Because the same field that nature uses to create a forest, a galaxy, or a human body can also bring about the fulfillment of our desires. Anything is possible in the field of pure potentiality because this field is the source of all power, all intelligence, and infinite organizing ability. इसको थोड़ा सा और डाइसेक्ट करते हैं और अपनी प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ के एग्जांपल्स लेने की कोशिश करते हैं. You know, sometimes we are in difficult situations, unfavorable situations, and we approach that situation with a bias. And that bias is also stemming from prior experience or our cultural beliefs or our conditioning. And if we try to apply a different perspective, a different lens to the exact same situation, I guarantee you, dear listeners, that you will start to see that in a different light altogether. And all that comes from, not from the outside, it comes from within us. हम कहते जरूर है, राइट? हर सिचुएशन में हम कहते हैं नो जजमेंट, लेकिन जब हम वो कह भी रहे होते हैं ना, and you know, there's another beautiful book, The Power of Now, जो इसी फोरम पे पढ़ी गई थी not too long ago. You have to start watching your own thoughts. What thoughts are coming, what thoughts are going, what thoughts are lingering, staying on, why are they staying on? And हम बोल देते हैं oh no judgment, but वो बोलते हुए भी हम actually, watch yourself, हम actually judgment form कर रहे हैं. But I think this also takes a little bit of self-awareness. जब चाहे हम judgment वो form कर रहे हैं, when to act on that judgment, when to react, when to respond to that judgment. These are all steps and phases. And we have to watch ourselves on this journey. Therefore, success in life depends on knowing who we really are. When our internal reference point is our spirit, our true self, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Authentic self, we experience all the power of our spirit. When our internal reference point is the ego or self-image, we cut ourselves from our source, and the uncertainty of events creates fear and doubt. अच्छा, ego का concept भी बहुत ही interesting concept है संगत जी. Ego is nothing but our self-created perception about our own self. I am this. And that identity that we hold on to is ego. The ego is influenced by objects outside the self, the circumstances, people, and things Yes, our social conditioning, our cultural beliefs that we are raised in, right? And those form the unseen shackles जो हम realize भी नहीं करते हैं, but हमारी एक identity बन जाती है, हमारे beliefs बन जाते हैं. This is right, this is not right. ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Based on all that gets fed to us. It thrives on the approval of others. It wants to control because it lives in fear. But the ego is not who we really are. The ego is a social mask. Understand this very deep. The ego is our own social mask. It is the role we are playing, and that is as designed by our own selves. And again, based on a lot of factors. We all have an identity that we cling on to. And to some degree, we all get very fearful or spiteful or angry or uncomfortable when we feel like that identity is in jeopardy. The need for approval, the need to control things, the need for external power are fear-based. We all seek acknowledgement, don't we? Personal life, professional life, acknowledgement, हम चाहते हैं. This kind of power is not the power of pure potentiality, the power of self or true power. Self-power is true power because it is based on the laws of nature and it comes from knowledge of the self. Self-power draws things that we want to us. It magnetizes people, situations, and things to support our desires. This support from the laws of nature is the state of grace. When we are in harmony with nature, we create a bond between our own desires and the power to make these desires materialize. So think about this. रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स लाइफ में आते हैं, राइट? आते हैं कि नहीं आते? चाहे वो आपके प्रोफेशनल स्पेस में हो, चाहे पर्सनल स्पेस में हो, और वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स इसलिए आते हैं because we try to resist. We are in harmony with nature when we condition our minds to accept that everything is happening exactly how it's meant to be. That's the first step. And इसमें there's a bigger message जो गुरुजी के बहुत simple अल्फाज थे ना, if and but, किंतु परंतु छोड़ दो. That is Sangat ji tied to this. How can you experience the law of pure potentiality? One way is through the practice of silence and meditation. This means tuning out the world and taking the time to simply be. In the Bible is the expression, be still and know that I am God. God is within us. We have to find that God. We have to listen to that God. तभी हम कहते हैं कि जब हमारे पास सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं ना, and we're looking for answers, वो आंसर हमारे अंदर है. But we haven't raised our frequency where we are able to listen to those answers because that voice is silenced by all the minutiae, all the noise, all the disturbance around us. So we have to take the time to simply be. Stillness is the first requirement for manifesting your desires. Because in stillness, you connect with the field of pure awareness. an infinite organizing power. Imagine throwing a little stone in a still pond and watching it ripple. That's what we do when we go into silence and introduce our intention. Even the faintest intention ripples across the field of universal consciousness that connects our desire with everything else. This field can orchestrate an infinite details for us. But if your mind is like a turbulent ocean, which is true for most of us, you could throw the Empire State Building into you and you won't notice a thing. Because more often than not, हमारे अंदर अशांति है, हमारे अंदर turbulence है. And the first step to awaken ourselves is to silence that first. Practicing non-judgment is another way to experience the law of pure potentiality. When you're constantly judging things as right or wrong, good or bad, you create a lot of turbulence in your internal dialogue. This turbulence constricts the flow of energy between you and the field of pure potentiality. In the silent space between your thoughts is a state of pure awareness and inner stillness that connects you to true power. Through the practice of non-judgment, you silence your mind and access your inner stillness. Again, I will repeat the same thing. The exercise is watching your thoughts come and letting them go and not holding on to things. Another way to experience the law of pure potentiality is to spend time in nature. So number one is practicing stillness. Number two is exercising very actively the act of practicing non-judgment. And none of it is simple, but these are steps to get to where we want to get to. The third thing that the author is elaborating is spending time in nature. Observe nature. By observing nature, you begin to sense the harmonious interaction of all the elements and forces of life. The lavish display of abundance in the universe is an expression of creative mind of nature. We are so consumed and we are so busy that we don't have the time to stand and stare anymore. And enjoying the nature, the bounty of nature, is soothing, is healing, is essential. Just by tuning into the mind of nature, you will access the field of pure potentiality in infinite creativity and spontaneously receive creative thoughts. Whether it be a stream, a forest, a mountain, sea, connecting with nature's intelligence will give you a sense of unity with all of life and help you get in touch with the innermost essence of your being. आप आजमा के देखो संगत जी that if you're by a water body, just hearing the sound of that water body is therapeutic. This essence is full of magic and mystery. It is fearless, it is free. When you are grounded in the knowledge of your true self, you never feel fearful or insecure about money or fulfilling your desires. You never feel guilty about wanting or having an abundance of anything because you realize that the essence of all material wealth is life energy. You know that your desires are inseparably connected with everything else. That is true. Your very desire is not your own, it is an evolutionary impulse coming through you. So, why would you doubt it? That impulse is part of the greater pattern, which is to grow and evolve into greater abundance and creativity. Law of pure potentiality says that you are consciousness itself, both as it manifests in the material world and as it lies unmanifest in your being. With the knowledge and the practice of this law, you can put yourself in harmony with nature and create with carefreeness, joy, and love. Now, Sangaji, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom also. Knowledge is step one, getting the information. Being able to apply and live that knowledge is wisdom. That's what makes us wise. A lot of us can become knowledgeable by reading, collecting data points. Getting the strength to apply that comes from our Guru, the God within us. Wherever you go, in the midst of activity, carry your stillness within you. Then the chaotic activity around you will never overshadow your access to the field of pure potentiality. See, all of us have an armor within us. And us armor ki thickness shield depends on how much we start to practice this. कईयों का आर्मर बहुत थिन होता है, बहुत जल्दी पियर्स हो जाता है, और कईयों का नहीं होता, देर से होता है. And our goal is to thicken that shield, that inner force field within us as much as we can, so we are not impacted by the ripples around us. Because life है, तो वो ripples तो साथ में चलेंगी. Our goal is to educate, evolve ourselves on how we want to respond to those pebbles being thrown within us. So to sum up, to experience the law of pure potentiality, what are some of the steps that we need to take? Take time each day to be silent, to connect with your spirit, to just be. ये गुरुजी ने भी कहा था. गुरुजी ने कभी हमें एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया कि हम 2-2 घंटे हिमालय पर्वत पे जाकर बैठ जाएं एंड कट ऑफ कर लें. नहीं, बिकॉज हम इस युग में हैं और गुरुजी खुद एक रसिक वैरागी गुरु थे. बट ही सेड build this muscle slowly. चाहे आप 2 मिनट से शुरुआत करो और वो 2 मिनट से 5, 5 से 10, 10 से 15. लेकिन ये अभ्यास जरूर करें संगत जी. Take the time every day to just sit with yourself in silence. Practice non-judgment. Begin each day with the statement, today I shall judge nothing that occurs. And throughout the day, remind yourself of that statement each time you catch yourself judging. Commune with nature. Silently observe the intelligence within everything. Watch a sunset, listen to the sound of the ocean, or simply smell the scent of a flower. Very important. Positive affirmation. इस बुक रीडिंग सेशन में भी आने से पहले अपने आप को अफर्म कीजिए that I want to learn. I want to take away XYZ from this session, and this is how I resolve to apply this in my every day, every minute interaction so that I make myself better. You're not comparing yourself. You're not judging. The only intent here is, how do I evolve myself to be a better version of me with each passing moment? The next law, very important, is the law of giving and receiving. बड़ा सिंपल सा फंडामेंटल है इसका, गिव व्हाट यू वांट टू रिसीव. मैंने बहुत सिंप्लीफाई करके बताया. जो चीज आप चाहते हैं वो देना सीखिए. अगर आप अपनी जिंदगी में खुशी चाहते हैं तो खुशी स्प्रेड करिए. Happiness is one of the few things that actually comes back manyfold when you learn to give. So this law, इसका तथ्य थोड़ा सा बताना चाहूंगी, is talking about giving generously, and not just giving, Sangatji, it is also about receiving graciously. So give and take are two sides of the same coin. So you give generously and you learn how to receive graciously also. And you do so with an open heart. And when you start doing that, we create a nice energy flow in our lives. Pause in your day and make it a habit to say something nice and kind to someone every day without expecting. Now, this is an easy thing to implement, right? कि रुक के काम पे, घर पे, रास्ते में अगर आपको कोई मिलता है तो just say something nice and something kind to someone, and you do so without expecting anything, and you do so without any malice, and then see what you start to attract for yourself. ये छोटी चीज तो हम कर सकते हैं ना. So now I'm going to start reading what this law is about. The second spiritual law of success is the law of giving and receiving. It is based on the fact that everything in the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Every relationship is one of give and take, because giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of energy in the universe. If we stop the flow of energy, we interfere with nature's intelligence. We must give and receive in order to keep money or anything we want circulating in our lives. Currency, our word for money, derives from a Latin word meaning to run or flow. Money is the symbol of life energy. We give the life energy. We receive as a result of the service we provide to others. Like a river, money must keep flowing, otherwise it begins to clog and stagnate. Circulation keeps it alive and vital. If we stop the circulation of life energy, if our intention is to hold on to our money and hoard it, we stop its circulation back into our lives. The intention behind our giving and receiving is the most important thing. Underline the word intention. And this is generally applicable to anything. We get simple questions, right? Satsang ka example le leti hu, because I think that will be the most relatable. Aaj I got a question कि आरती शुरू में करें कि एंड में करें, क्या बनाएं, कौन सा रंग पहनाएं. And my response was that when you ask this question, sit down in front of Guruji, try and connect with Guruji, and ask yourself that does our Guru really care about कि हम आरती सत्संग के शुरू में कर रहे हैं कि एंड में कर रहे हैं, हम ताली बजा रहे हैं कि नहीं बजा रहे, हमने पनीर बनाया है या दाल बनाई है. The answer is no. What our Guru really cares about is our Atma Samarpan, cares about our bhav, So if the bhav is right, हम ताली बजा रहे हैं या नहीं बजा रहे, so long as हमें अंदर से खुशी मिल रही है और हमें पता है कि हम सच्चे सुच्चे भाव से कर रहे हैं, do you think the rest of the things matter? The answer is no. When the act of giving is joyful, when it is unconditional and from the heart, then the energy behind the giving increases many times over. And please इस बात को गांठ बांध के रख लीजिए और हर चीज में इसको अप्लाई करने की कोशिश कीजिए संगत जी. Now similarly, if we give grudgingly, there is no energy behind that giving. If we feel we have lost something through the act of giving, then the gift is not truly given and will not cause increase. The law of giving and receiving is simple. If we want love, learn to give love. If you want attention and appreciation, learn to give attention and appreciation. If you want material affluence, help others to become materially affluent. जैसे मैंने कहा ना, a simple नुस्खा कि रोज make it part of your daily goal कि आज मैंने किसी को कुछ अच्छा कहना है. Just to put a smile on their face and see how it comes back to you manyfold. If you want to be blessed with all the good things in life, learn to silently bless everyone with all the good things in life. The more you give, the more you will receive. कभी आपको कोई दिल दुखाने के लिए बहुत बहुत कड़े लफ्ज कह दे या कुछ बुरा कह दे, वापसी में बस इतना कह दो, bless your heart. कोई जरूरत नहीं है टिट फॉर टैट करने की. कोई जरूरत नहीं है कि अगर उसने मुझे 2 कड़वे लफ्ज कहे तो मैं उसको बताती हूँ कि मुझे कितना बोलना आता है, मैं 4 बोलूंगी. कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. In your willingness to give that which you seek, you will keep the abundance of the universe circulating in your life. Abundance has material expression, but what is really circulating is consciousness. Even the thought of giving, the thought of blessing, or a simple prayer has the power to affect others. We are the bundles of thought in a thinking universe, and that thought has the power to transform. हमारे गुरु साहब कहते थे कि अरदास करते हो तो अपने लिए मांगने की बजाय ना दूसरों के लिए मांगना सीखो, क्योंकि अपने लिए तो हम मांगते ही रहते हैं, and it comes the most naturally. But if we try to flip that, see if you start to feel differently. The best way to experience the law of giving and receiving is to give a gift to everyone you come in contact with. This doesn't have to be in the form of material things. The gifts of caring, affection, appreciation, and love are some of the most precious gifts that you can give, and they don't cost you anything. One of the things I was taught as a child is to never go to anyone's house without bringing a gift. Especially हमें Indians में होता है ना, खाली हाथ कैसे जाएं. You may say, how can I give to others when I don't have enough myself? You can bring a note that says something about your feelings for the person you're visiting. You can bring a flower, a compliment, or a prayer. When you meet someone, silently send the person a blessing. This kind of silent giving is very powerful. And sometimes पता है हमें express नहीं करना आता. But when we see somebody doing something good, silently in our mind, I've done that many times. Maybe, using my words, I'm not able to thank that person as profusely or as frequently as I want to, as I should. But even if internally, I look at that person and I smile and I'm just, in my heart, I say, oh my God, I'm so grateful for you. That is good enough also. So remember, the kind of silent giving is very powerful. Give wherever you go. And as you give, you will receive. And as you receive, the more your ability to give will increase, and the more you will gain confidence in the miraculous effects of this law. There is nothing you lack because your essential nature is one of pure potentiality and infinite possibilities. वो सीड का एग्जाम्पल जो मैंने दिया उसको याद रखें संगत जी. You are inherently affluent no matter how much or how little money you have, because the source of all wealth is the field of pure potentiality that knows how to fill every need. Don't we hear these inspirational stories often where we hear about people being able to create something out of nothing? How do you think that happens? That happens when you tap into the pure potentiality. Giving and receiving are nothing other than the flow of life, the harmonious interaction of all the elements and the forces that structure the field of existence. The exchange of energy is a process that has its own timing, organization, and beauty. Your life unfolds in the same way. Everything that comes to you isn't something you earn, but a gift freely given by the universe, which means it comes from a deep awareness of what you need. Think of all the things that have been freely given to you without you having to ask for them. And we all have that, right? सोचिए कि कितना कुछ हमें मिला है बगैर मांगे हुए, और उन सब चीजों को हम लेते हैं for granted. Just experiencing gratitude allows you to participate in the law of giving and receiving. Every day, start your day with gratitude. Be thankful. Every day, conclude your day with that feeling. Nature supports your every need and desire, including your need for love, joy, laughter, harmony, and knowledge. Seek these things first, not only for yourself, but for others. And all else will spontaneously come to you. Remember, it is our force field that is attracting or repelling things. To experience the law of giving and receiving, give a gift to everyone you encounter, be it a compliment, a flower, or a prayer. जरूरी नहीं है कि गिफ्ट का मतलब कुछ एक्सपेंसिव, कुछ मटेरियल हो. This will begin the process of circulating joy and affluence in your life and in the life of others. हम कहते हैं ना कि अगर हम खुश रहना चाहते हैं तो हमें ये इंश्योर करना चाहिए कि हमारी सराउंडिंग, हमारे आसपास वाले भी खुश हों. That's how that energy flows. अगर आपको लगता है कि I just want to focus on my happiness and I don't care if the others around me are miserable, believe you me, your force field will be impacted sooner or later. So it's about within and it's about our surrounding as well. Gratefully receive every gift that life offers to you. Be open to receiving, whether it's a material gift from others, a compliment, or a prayer. Silently wish everyone you encounter happiness, joy, and laughter. Especially when you meet somebody who's miserable and is unhappy and is negative, make sure unki taraf to double ye silent prayers of happiness, joy, and laughter zarur bhejiye. By giving and receiving the gifts of caring, affection, appreciation, and love, you will keep the wealth circulating in your life, and that wealth is also spiritual wealth and spiritual affluence. So, this concludes the first two laws. Kal hum phir ikhatte hoenge, and we are going to read the next couple laws. I hope this session was worth it, and I don't know, Ekta or Shilpi, if people have any questions or commentary, because I do want this to be an interactive session. So I leave that up to you. But This is what I wanted to share. And again, this is also the first time I am reading this book. So we are on this journey of learning together and growing together. And I think it's a moral responsibility as Guru Sangat and just as fellow humans to ensure that we continue to uplift each other.
Hi, Aunty. I think we can have a few questions if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I am okay. And now I'm going to go on camera as well because earlier I just wanted everybody to just focus on maybe Guruji Sri Charan and not let our mind wander. But absolutely open to answering anything as best as I can.
Sure. Sangaji, if anybody wants to ask a question, they can please raise their hand and I can unmute them. And in case if there's nobody, I have a question. You said if you want to get something from the universe, you should be able to give that same thing to the universe. But what happens is if you give the same thing to the universe and it doesn't come back to you, is there something wrong with your intent in giving? Or is the process of giving wrong? What part of giving and not receiving it back, what part is wrong in that equation, Auntie? I want to understand that.
That's a very loaded question. And I think the first checkpoint that should come to your mind is that are you already giving with the intent to get something back? That's the first qualifier. I want you to ask, you don't have to answer this on this forum, but ask this question to yourself, that are you already launching something into the universe with an expectation that, hey, I'm giving this, but I expect this many-fold back. Is that the thought that crosses your mind? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that could be a starting point.
Maybe not when you start, maybe during the process, maybe at the end of the process, because we're all human beings, and
Yes.
let's accept it that there is some, like you said, there is some kind of appreciation, or there's some kind of thing that you also want, just to keep yourself motivated, to keep you on the track that, yeah, you're doing something right. Maybe sometimes, because there are two parts to this thing, according to me. If you don't have that, a third party letting you know, then you could get ego out of it,
Yeah,
because we
absolutely.
have to have our egos also checked, because if we cannot speak about it.
Ego is an inherent part of who we are. Ego हमारे साथ चलती है एकता. अगर हम सेवा
Absolutely,
भी
I
करते हैं
agree
ना,
with it, and usko
अगर
check
हम
के
सेवा भी
रखना
करते हैं तो
is,
आप
sorry, you go ahead.
no, finish your thought.
So just to keep that in check, and at the same time to be able to give at the highest level, are sometimes very difficult, especially
It is.
with the kind of environment we move around nowadays, where everybody is judgmental, where they think every action has a hidden agenda, and sometimes you're dealing with low level minds, sometimes you're dealing with very high intellect people, and yet uh, just one look is enough to make you realize that probably something is amiss. So that's where you start to think, how do I keep continuing at this path with the right intent, with the purity in your mind and heart, and still give with the purpose of not receiving it back wholly materialistically, but probably spiritually.
Yeah, and I don't think it's about not receiving back. I think it's about not expecting, right? And we read this in every holy scripture that expectation is just again the mool source, the main source of all misery. You apply this anywhere in your personal relationships, professional. Expectation draws the most misery. हम अपने बच्चों से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, हम अपने पेरेंट्स से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, हम अपने स्पाउस से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, हम खुद से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं. एंड ईगो इज एन इनहेरेंट पार्ट ऑफ अस. ईगो हमारे साथ ही चलती है. हम कहने को कहते हैं, वी ऑल नो द डेफिनेशन ऑफ सेवा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सेवा इज एन एक्ट ऑफ सेल्फलेस सर्विस. लेकिन उस सेवा में भी यू विल सी हाउ सटनली आपकी मैं सबसे पहले उसमें घर कर जाती है. क्योंकि आप बोलते हो ये तो मेरी सेवा है, मैं तो पहले ही आ गई. आप सेवा करते हो, उसके बाद आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हो कि वैलिडेशन मिले. तुम ये चाहते हो, अच्छा अगर तुमने लंगर के लिए फॉर एग्जांपल, मैं और बहुत पेटी एग्जांपल्स में ले रही हूँ, बट दिस हैपेंस इन आवर रोजमर्रा जिंदगी. एंड आई एम नॉट सिटिंग अबव ऑल दिस बाय एनी मींस. आई एम ऑन द सेम पैथ, द सेम जर्नी, फेसिंग द सेम स्ट्रगल्स. एंड यू नो, सिंपल एग्जांपल इज, हम लंगर के लिए कुछ बनाएंगे एंड देन वी से, अच्छा दाल कैसी बनी थी? अच्छी बनी थी, मैंने बनाई. प्लेलिस्ट अच्छी लगी, मैंने डिजाइन करी. किताब बुक रीडिंग कैसी लगी, मैंने वो सेशन किया. वो मैं तो हमारे साथ चल रहा है, एंड वी डोंट इवन रियलाइज दैट, बट इट हैपेंस टू द बेस्ट ऑफ अस. नाउ आई ऑल्सो फील लाइक this is a continuous work in progress. We have to take baby steps. And the second that realization starts to seep in, Ekta, where you say something and then something within you triggers and you check your own thoughts. That's the first step. You know, wo realization bhi hona कि oh my god, I said this. Was it right? Was my intent right? What was I looking to get out of this? जब ये self diagnostic शुरू हो जाता है ना, so that is really the first baby step that you are taking in the right direction. And congratulate yourself when that, you know, those thoughts start to trickle your mind. क्योंकि most of us को तो वो realization भी नहीं होगी. We sometimes struggle to differentiate between truth and lies because we've all become such compulsive liars. And this happens. But as we start to read and as we start to you know, really soak up the satsangs and understand and dissect the messages of the divine, ये छोटा 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 self diagnostic शुरू होने लगता है हमारे अंदर. And I feel like that's a huge step in the right direction. So even if you feel that, oh my god, you're doing the right thing, but you're not getting anything back in return, it's okay. That shouldn't be detrimental to your motivation of doing it anyway, because you are doing it for yourself. That's the first thing you need to realize. When you extend an act of kindness, हमें ये लगता है ना कि oh, we are doing a favor to somebody else. लेकिन shift that thinking. You are doing this because you want to be worthier in the eyes of the divine, and just leave it at that and see where you go. Did it help?
It did. It did. The
And
other
this is a reminder. I think I need it too. So
no, the other aspect of this is also the people that you're surrounded with. They play a very big hand in being able to
absolutely.
model it to the extent that you're saying. Uh, stopping yourself and checking is one. If you've moved above it, then it also becomes about whom all are you surrounded by.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
that's
And
where
those
your silence
surroundings
comes
can
into
either
the
keep your
picture.
cup full or can drain your cup very quickly.
Yeah.
So, like I said, protect your force field. Protect those energies, and be cognizant of what you're putting yourself into, who you're surrounding. Again, it is about coming up with a goal sheet for yourself. What is it that I want to get out of this, and why? And getting grounded on that why, not the what, not the how, the why. Very important.
I think, Aunty, even, I mean, I don't know how it is with everybody else, but I think we put Guruji also on stand and ask him to validate it for us. You know, I did this, Guruji. Now please validate it. Ki ye theek kara ki nahi kara. Sometimes I find it wrong in a lot of ways that
Yeah, it's
why do
not. We are human beings, Ekta. We are mere mortals, and we look towards that to that divine, you know, the divine intervention, the God, the Guru, to give us that sort of nod of approval, right? क्योंकि हम जैसे कहते हैं ना, हम वो मूर्ख शिक्षक है जो अपने गुरु से ज्ञान लेने के लिए हम अपने हाथ और अपनी झोलियां फैला रहे हैं. The very fact that हम वो झोली फैलाने की stage पे आए हैं is progress. A lot of people are not there yet. And that gurmat of wanting to become a seeker, wanting to get better
Yeah,
is a step in the right direction.
I guess. Thank you. And we have two people who've raised their hands, so we'll take their quick questions. You have time, Aunty?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Guruji ki Ekta, can you unmute yourself, please?
Jai Guruji, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Aunty.
Jai Guruji, Aarti, how are you?
Jai Guruji, I'm well. How are you?
I'm very fine. Very well said on so many points. And I think Ekta, we resonate here because I've also been going through such lovely, I would say, experiences of people letting me down in so many ways. And I cry and I crib and I do this and that, and then I sit in front of Guruji and I howl and I do whatever I want. And then suddenly since like these 3 months, and also after listening to the practicing of the power of now, has given me three things. I'll quickly sum them up. One, whenever I'm overthinking of the moment I helped somebody, I quickly tell myself it was that moment which has passed already. So we're talking about now, and now I have to think about this moment. So the gone has nothing to do with me already, and the coming, I don't know what will come. Second thing, we are all learners. The souls who are not doing good to us are also learning.
Yeah.
And these souls and the experiences are sent back to us again and again so that we grow, we come out of it. It's for everybody. For them also, we are sent to them to do these deeds to us because they also are learning. And they have to improve on themselves, not to repeat it over and over again to people. So let's not focus on what they are doing. Let's focus on what is the message and the lesson. So
Yep.
if we are not getting affected, the whole thought and the whole kriya just comes to a halt. हमने उसको इफेक्ट ही नहीं होने दिया हमको, so it's over, it's dead. उनका कुछ भी हमें इफेक्ट नहीं कर सकता until unless we decide them that they will get space in our brains, our thoughts, our actions. And the third thing that has helped me is my whole universe is Guruji. So if I'm asking something, I'm actually sending my prayers and my wishes and my vibrations to Guruji. So if at all, you said na ki wo वापस नहीं आता. So if at all it is to come back and it is for our benefit, it will. And if it is already, it's like a sieve. It's like a sieve. It's like it's already been chanified by Guruji. Whether that wish or that karma is to be given back to me, it will come back. If not, it will just go off. And I don't care if it comes back or doesn't come back. Just being in the moment without getting affected by the moment and practicing it is not easy, but I've been trying 3 months and I have seen how it works, and it gives me so much pleasure to tell you that my mind is much at peace than it was before. So I
Jai
don't know.
Guruji. That's
I don't know
beautiful.
whether I gave it properly or not, but I tried my best. I hope I could touch somebody and I could bring that message on that life is not about people, souls. It's about you and your journey with Guruji. And how is he making you learn through experiences. So once you stop repeating your mistakes, the experiences won't come back to you. People will just get waved off. And he, as it is, removes all the negativity coming into your life through people or situations. So Jai Guruji, Shukrana to Maharaj, and I keep my Vani to rest. Jai Guruji.
No, thanks for sharing. I think couple thoughts. to what I'm hearing. Everything that happens to us, and I said this earlier also, whether it's good or bad, is teaching us something. So we have to be receptive to what is it that this incident, this person is trying to teach me. That's number one. Number two, this is more or less a rule of thumb that anyone you end up helping will most likely never help you back. But it is like sowing these seeds in the universe. It will come back to you from another source, not necessarily from the person you invested yourself in, may or may not, but it's definitely registered somewhere in the universe and you are almost certain to get it back. That's why we say what goes around comes around. The third thing is we feel what we feel, and it's okay. Feelings should never be dismissed. In fact, embrace those feelings. But how we respond or how we choose to respond to those feelings is our responsibility. So take accountability for that. And the fourth thing, we always talk about praying to Guruji. I think there needs to be a little shift in that also. We need to start praying even for Guruji, the divine force that gives us so much. Take a moment to pray for that divinity as well. Not pray to, pray for as well. So just reacting to what I'm hearing real time. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but some of the things that I try, there are times I fail as a person miserably. But even that realization, even if it seeps in slower, it does seep in.
I think it makes a lot of sense, Aunty. It does make a lot of sense. And when you help somebody or when you do something for somebody, it is not for yourself, but for that person to take it on further. And that's how the world is going to become a better place. It's not just between two people, but it has to be a chain reaction moving forwards and onwards. That's how it should be. So that's the thing. We have Victor.
Yeah, the principle of paying it forward.
Yes, absolutely. Aunty, do you want to say anything else? Ekta Aunty, do you want to say anything else?
Thank you for addressing this. And yes, beautiful summary. 4 points, very valid, as you are always. Thank you, and thank you, Ekta, and the Sevadar team, bringing it to us in the most beautiful time, beautiful way, and via a beautiful Sevadar. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
No, I'm immensely grateful myself. When Ekta and Shilpi, they reached out, and I was laughing with Shilpi. I was like, wow, I'm supposed to talk about the book that I haven't read myself, but it's okay. I think it's come for a reason, and maybe again, no coincidences. Guruji also wanted me to learn through this forum, through each of you, and that's how we do a service to each other and uplift each other, which I think in some way, shape, or form is a duty that lies with each one of us.
Sending a lot of love. Jai Guruji.
Right back.
Thank you, Aunty. Victor, can you share your question?
Yeah, hey, Jai Guruji. Quick question for you. I mean, I feel like I personally, I know many people struggle with understanding the difference between reacting from a place of ego versus reacting from a place of, self-respect. And, would love to kind of get your thoughts based on your experiences and kind of what you've read. Like, how do you really distinguish between the two, so that you don't, obviously react from the wrong place, which is the ego?
Hi there. I wasn't expecting a question from you, but and I do want to say that I have learned the most from you, Victor. So thank you. for that. So ego and self-esteem, I feel like it's intertwined to quite an extent. And ego is when you are in some way, shape, or form trying to establish some sort of supremacy. I'm supreme, I'm better. My response will tell you that I'm one of you. And hence I have the desire to respond because this is what I want to show. And self-respect sometimes tells you that there is no reason for you to try and prove a point or wanting to validate yourself anymore, because in your heart, you know your intent. And sometimes when we say that, and you say it all the time, that sometimes no response is the most profound response, and only because you know in your heart and your God knows and the God within you knows that whatever you did with the right intent, you get a lot of peace from that. And I've had a past where, sometimes I struggle with a lot as a person. I had a contentious divorce, and I've learned to love and accept and embrace the anger that stems from that, because I understand the pain that probably my decision would have caused to another person. So I try and respond not with ego, even if I feel like it's wrong or there's a very poor choice of words being used. I am choosing to love that. And that helps me heal. And so I think it's very personal, but deep down, we all know, and we all know it ahead of anybody else around us, whether we are responding out of ego or this is truly a matter of self-respect. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question, but I think that sift, that filter lies within us. And sometimes we deliberately choose to ignore that. We've had arguments where I have responded and I know I am responding from a place of ego, but I feel compelled to do so because I'm in the clutches of anger and I'm not able to break free from those shackles. So I respond because I want to say, hey, I'm right. And I want you to know I'm right. And then when that anger and you're somehow able to break free from the shackles and the clutches of that anger, that's when slowly, the self-realization resurfaces. And that calmness re-prevails within you. And it's the same situation and it's the same people and your response is different. Why? So did I answer
thanks.
your question?
You did. Thanks for that. And I think you made a point, which is as much as we try to control our reaction to things and see see what's happening in our mind and our emotions and prevent an egoistic response, it's also very important that we will always fall into the trap of responding, and the goal is to reduce the number of times that we do that. And I do believe that actually reflecting, like doing some self-realization after the fact, is probably just as important, as long as you're using it so that you can have better responses going forward. This was great. Thank you.
Stillness is key, and we're all struggling to get to that, but at least there's a desire.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aarti Aunty. Thank you, everybody. Should we wrap up today?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jai Guruji.
Thank you,
Shukrana for this
everybody,
section.
for coming in. We'll see you again tomorrow, same time.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
blessed day,
Jai
evening.
Guruji.
Jai Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aarti. That was great.
Thank you.
Shukrana, Guruji.